lot of money there. And I'm like doing all these makeup tutorials.
Nicki Minaj over here is getting deals from very big brands. That's why she made those YouTube or those TikTok videos doing her makeup, because she had a lot of money in there. I didn't know that until I watched this interview. Let's see what Nicki Minaj has to say about her new biography and her life so far. We'll give a commentary on her interview. Let's go into it.
Some days I do feel 33, other days I feel 16.
I wonder what this has to do with anything.
Other days I feel like I'm 45. So, I mean, quite honestly, it's just, I've lived a lot of life in these 5 months.
Just so you know, she's not like you. And me, she has deserved her bragging rights. So, I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj Blanchard.
That these days, yep, I'm very much feeling my age.
I did not understand a word of that.
I think I would describe the Gypsy Rose that went into prison as someone who honestly was very lost.
And someone who has told a lot of lies to Dr. Phil about a man in particular, Nicholas Godejohn.
And confused of who she was and who she's going to be. And I think that the Gypsy that walked out of prison is finally coming to her own and very accepting of who she is now and hopeful for the future.
And then in another video she says that she needs more counseling, she has some growing up to do, and she hasn't found herself yet. So which is it?
5 months later, this Gypsy is a little bit more wise.
In just a few months she has gained a lot of wisdom, putting her in the position of getting an award like the Nobel Prize.
Has a little bit more experience under her belt and is still very hopeful for the future regardless.
Being in prison and talking to other criminals is not really some good advice, some good experience if you ask me. And she needs to deal with her trauma, which she openly admits that she hasn't done yet, because she is not in the position of closing any documents. She is still going to psychiatrists. Not a good way to dealing with that, going into public and sharing your life story.
A day in the life consists of me and my stepmom binge watching chick flick movies.
Nobody cares about that. I will skip a part because I don't want to comment on stuff is not relevant for the crime.
It really was.
This is a man she duped into being with her, professing their love, marrying, and then saying, oh well, you know what, I think I love Ken. I think I really do, so bye Ryan. Leave you heartbroken, don't care, bye dog. I don't want the dog, you can have her.
Let me get a picture with you.
Everybody's just gone gypsy crazy.
Did you catch that? Everybody went gypsy crazy. Oh, Nicki Minaj crazy. She's like such a wow, like a rock star. Oh my god, what's her name? Can I get an autograph? The reason why they're interested is because you have committed a crime, now you're infamous, and they're not interested in anything else but your mind. Why the hell do you do what you do?
I have death threats.
Now why the hell would someone receive death threats like Gypsy Rose? It's unbelievable. I have no idea why they can just leave a criminal on parole alone who just killed her mother. Just leave me alone.
In my messages, am I at risk for dangerous people?
She said, am I at risk for dangerous people? No, you're not at risk because you are dangerous people.
The hardest lesson that I've had to learn is that, not everybody is gonna accept you and love you for who you are.
Not liking the lies that you have told and continuously doing. To this day, lying about Nicholas Godejohn and talking about your mother in a very nasty way. And basically having an overall deceptive character.
People are going to believe what they want to believe, and so you have to know your own truth.
We don't believe what we want to believe. We look at the evidence and then the story writes itself. And then you create your own narrative and then try to push it into the public because you have the biggest voice. With 9.9 million people following you, well,
And live in your truth. Social media is definitely a dance for me.
Yes, she's dancing all over the place, making videos, deleting them, changing the story over and over again. Basically, not in her right mind, if you ask me. She needs to heal, get off the internet, and then maybe come back as an advocate for truth.
There'll be days that I want to bring it closer. There'll be days that I want to push it very far back.
What did I say? Yes, no situation. I want it, I don't want it. I say this, I say that. So, you know what I'm saying?
So it's a learning curve for me. So figuring out what my point of comfortability is key in being on social media.
She says she's an advocate on social media, but she's not. She's advocating for her personal life, breaking up with Ryan, buying a dog, and then abandoning both of them to go with Ken to be Barbie.
At first, I wanted to read all the comments, and then I realized that I can't do that.
Well, I got some sources over here that are telling me that you're deleting comments. So which is it? The source, by the way, is YouTube. Creators that are watching you move very closely and then filming all of it.
There is a lot of negative comments out there, and I cannot change everyone's minds.
It doesn't matter how hard I try, I just cannot change everybody. Some people just don't freaking believe me, what I say. It's ridiculous. I'm trying so hard to be the rock star over here, Nicki Minaj, and then they just misunderstand that with a M-word. Like, what the hell?
I'll feel like I want to, but their mind is already made up. And
again, it is the evidence that the story will write. You know what I'm saying? It's not people's opinions or anything. It's just what is on the table. You contradicting yourself in almost every time of your appearance. And being your fake crying activities on social media is not really fun to watch, if I may be honest with you. You're being an absolute deceptive woman.
Nothing I say is going to change that. So I've ultimately turned off my comments and no longer read them.
Just as I said, being a complete contradiction within itself. She turned off her comments, but then she really didn't, because her comments are on. And being in the process of deleting the negative ones.
Not every day is a fairy tale in life.
I don't want to lose my wife. I love her.
And I just don't know if I'm going to be happy in this marriage. Eventually, I'm going to want a divorce.
Watch the advocate in action. She's advocating for truth, for people to raise awareness of Munchausen by proxy. But no, she's really raising awareness of the fact that she's going to leave Ryan. She wants a divorce. I'm done.
Ryan and I were busy filming for these 4 months, and
please make a note to the camera and say that there is such a thing as the Son of Sam law, which prevents criminals from profiting of their crimes. But you know what? I just wrote a book, so I'm profiting.
A lot of stress, but the attention that social media and the public eye put on our marriage was a stress in itself.
What about the stress that Ryan has to deal with? Right, being stuck with a dog that you were supposed to be with together. But no, you know, it's like, I want this. Oh, no, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? You're messing with human lives here.
So,
honestly, I still don't care. I'm gonna skip a bit.
Always felt was, lost. And now reclaiming that back, I definitely feel a sense of belonging in that space. I did love Ryan.
Why is the criminal now being famous, pretending to be the next bold and beautiful?
Ryan and I spent 3 years of a relationship together. It was just a different love than I have for Ken.
Yeah, so you just have to get over it. Why are you leaving him so quickly, you know? I just want to be with Ken, and that's my opinion. I don't care if he's hurt. Who cares? He was my friend in my time of incarceration, and I'm free, and I'm going to do what I want.
The thing about Ken and I is we have a long history, and our history all starts with a friendship.
When is she going to inform Ken of her outbursts of anger when she scared Nicholas go to John and he said, "Stop scaring me, I want Kitty back." And then she said, "I think I'm bipolar. Do you have medicine for bipolar?" She conned the man with disabilities into committing the crime. Don't forget that.
Connection that's there, that when you meet that person, no matter how much time has passed,
I couldn't care less.
No matter what relationships outside of that bond is made.
Do you realize if she didn't commit the crime, nobody was interested in what she was saying right now? They're interested in her mind. The reason why they watch this is because they're trying to figure out what is it that makes you behave like that.
You keep coming back to that same person.
I still haven't gotten the answer why she's acting the way she does. So I'm gonna skip a bit. She's infamous, Nicki Minaj, doing a twirl.
I feel good about it. The instinctual need of being like, okay, well, I want to do this. Wait a minute. I don't have to ask anybody. I can just do it myself.
While she was in prison, she wrote a letter to her aunt, and then at the end she said, "I need a man to fix me."
And I don't get in trouble for it. I don't get in trouble for expressing my personality.
She's on parole, she's a criminal, she killed her mother, she's in trouble.
My mom didn't want me to wear makeup. She felt like that was too grown up and associated that with, things that I wasn't allowed to do.
You know what you're also not allowed to do? Profit of your crime by making TV shows, interviews, selling books about the story of your crime. Don't you know that?
So now coming out, hit up Sephora, hit up Ulta Beauty, and
Profit to the moon and back is what I'm going to do. And if any of you YouTubers out there, your armchair detectives, are going to make videos about it, well, I'm going to call you out on it. Because of course, I'm on parole right now. And I can do that. But when I'm off parole, you better watch your back. You goddamn YouTubers. I'm done with you.
spent a lot of money there. And I'm like doing all these makeup tutorials.
Nicki Minaj over here is getting deals from very big brands. That's why she made those YouTube or those TikTok videos doing her makeup, because she had a lot of money in there. I didn't know that until I watched this interview.
In the bathroom mirror and experimenting with makeup. So
My problem is I have a very obsessive personality. When I'm into something, I want to know everything. And so, because of that, I now found out exactly the truth behind all of her TikTok videos doing makeup. Because she's getting deals from... this is ridiculous. Why is a criminal profiting of her crime? That's why she's famous, don't you know that? She's infamous.
something that I'm like, I'm doing it.
Darn it, I'm doing it. I don't care. Screw the son of Sam law, it doesn't apply to me.
I have to always constantly give myself a little bit of grace. I always have to remind myself that, yes, I'm a victim.
Like, yes, I am the M word, but I have to make it right in my head that, it's not that bad what I did.
Of Munchausen by proxy, but I'm also a survivor of it. Like, I don't like the term victim. I have to remind myself that I am like a little ball of everything.
What about Nicholas Godejohn? He was disabled. He had autism level 2 and he had Asperger's. He was very prone to manipulation, and you manipulated him. How about that? He doesn't have a word in this, and it's basically your word against the documents of the police. That's all we have.
Like, what I've been through, to say I'm either a victim or the perpetrator.
She's now confused in her mind. Is she a victim or a perpetrator? Well, I guess you are both. You are a victim of Munchausen by proxy. If that is the case, we cannot verify it, because Dee Dee is not here to defend herself. But yes, you are a perpetrator because you have influenced a disabled man into doing the deed, which you have tried twice before yourself, but it didn't work.
Categorize me in either one.
Let's not put people in a box here, okay? There is no such thing as a perpetrator or a victim. Just neutral.
You're forgetting the gray area that is the larger scope of my story.
Which is in her book, and it is a summation of complete and nasty deceivement, not owning up to what you did, and basically twisting the whole story. Lying about Nicholas Godejohn, pretending that she was abused by him when she was just participating in BDSM role-playing. And then she basically convinced him of doing something he did not want to do, because he said, let's run away, I don't want to do it.
There is much more layers to me than just those two things.
Don't act like you know me, because you don't. I have a lot of hidden personalities that you are not aware of. So, just don't talk about me, okay, in that way.
Don't like being labeled as either.
Yeah, just what I said, we're not doing the labeling here. There is no murderer or victim, right? It's just neutral. It just is. It's what is, right? Just happen. Who the hell cares? Let me make my money and let me play my Nicki Minaj part over here.
I like being just Gypsy. So reminding myself that I'm just Gypsy on a daily is important.
Yeah, I hope you are just Gypsy and not Sandra from next door. You know what I'm saying? Being a bit of a multiple personality disorder.
I'm a normal person, and I didn't grow up in Hollywood.
It's gotten to her head that she's now being interviewed like she's some Hollywood star. She's not, she's infamous.
That isn't my life. So watching it all unfold on TV and watching the interviews.
Guess who doesn't get to do that? Nicholas Godejohn. We want a fair trial.
I have to realize it's not my everyday life, and I want other people to realize that's not my everyday life.
We'll see in your next Lifetime episode.
I go back home and I go clean up dog poop from, our 2 dogs, and I mow the lawn.
I'm just a regular girl, just like you, but not really, because I'm Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Or call me Ruby.
Like the next person. So, I I have a real life, and then there's that public life.
You know, the fake one where I tell lies and deceive people into getting away with murder, basically. And talk shit about Nicholas Godejohn, who I don't care about. But I did want a baby from him.
And knowing how to manage the two is important.
Guess who I don't care about also? Ryan. He can just go to hell, basically.
When I came out of prison, I didn't have any expectations on myself, and I didn't think anybody had any expectations of me.
Exactly, nobody knew you before you committed the crime. A lot of real victims of Munchausen by proxy are not getting the publicity, and they would love to advocate.
So now getting a little bit more clarity as to I do have a fan base, and it is
A fan base? Are you kidding me, man? Yeah, Charles Manson did have a fan base also, but it's more like, you know, twisted love for these types of people, like the Wade Wives Club.
I do want to keep in mind that my actions are being viewed by a lot of people.
Who basically couldn't care less about you. Just like they couldn't care less about me, because I have nothing interesting to say about my life. Because you committed the crime, everybody wants to know what's up with your mind. Because you clearly don't have any talent to show for, Nicki Minaj.
So, with that being said, like, I understand that my fame, infamy, whatever you want to call it.
There's not whatever you want to call it, it's just simple fact. What is it? Are you famous or are you infamous? You are infamous because you have no talents to show for. Nicki Minaj, the real Nicki Minaj, has a very good singing talent. She can dance, she can do all these things. You haven't shown anything of that. But your deceitful character. So, it's infamous. It's like a fact, you know what I mean? It's not an opinion.
Stemmed from a crime. And I want people to know that that was not okay. I'm not.
Yeah, just so you know, that was not okay. For if you were doubtful, you know, like, you know, maybe it's okay, it's justified. No, it's not okay. I take my responsibility, so please just take it easy, you armchair detectives.
My actions from, you know, 8.5 years ago. What I do want Gen Z to take away from who I am today is a hope for a better future.
Stop justifying your attempts to become famous. Criminals on parole should not make money off it.
Because you came from a bad situation, that doesn't label you, and that's not where you have to stay. There is personal growth in that.
She did not show any personal growth. She is not advocating for truth. She's advocating for her personal life and showing off her baby and Ken. And in the meantime, leaving Ryan to wipe his tears alone. Don't care about him.
So, if there are fans out there watching, that's what I want to be known for.
Raise your hand if you are in the fan club of Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
I know from personal experience that finding your voice is a road, it's a journey, and it's a path that is not always clear. Sometimes that path could be a little foggy and you're confused of what the right thing to do is.
Well, the right thing to do is not write books about your crime and then profit of it, and then continuously making interviews, documentaries and movies about your life, again profiting of it, and not advocating for truth again, not taking your responsibility, bashing your mother and Nicholas Godejohn, and we can add Ryan to the list also.